Shalom, family. It's good to see everybody here. You know, you heard about Ann Coulter, and many of you saw the clip because I showed it of him interviewing her. He had a podcast. He invited Ann Coulter on. And during the campaign, when him and Nimrata were still in the race, this is a comment that she made. That right there should have told him that this woman may have issues with East Indians. How do you look at something like this and you invite that person on? Now, Ann Coulter have a long history of she absolutely can't stand Nikki Nimrata Haley. And you'll see that as we go along in this thing. But she's got a long-standing history of hating on Nikki and actually told Nikki she need to get out of this country. Yes, that's what Ann said. And don't think because she dated an East Indian, that don't mean nothing. The slave master laid around with the slaves. It didn't mean that he didn't have any biases or hatred towards those slaves. These people will hate on you all day and still lay down with you. That doesn't mean anything. And especially in a place like America. America got a long history of doing that. You got these Klansmen, and look at how many of the Proud Boys had black wives. I mean, we saw that. It means nothing. Them detesting a person and what they will do are two different things. We have seen this so many times, it's not even funny. It just tells you psychologically, these folks are really messed up. That's what it does tell you. Thank you, Donna, for the super chat. Thank you. All right. So that doesn't mean anything because Ann dated Jimmy Walker and Dinesh D'Souza. That doesn't mean anything, y'all. It didn't see, you see what she sounds like, right? But she likes the dark meat, but you still hear what she sounds like. History always have a tendency of repeating itself, which means you see what the slave master did in the present generation. You can hate on somebody and still want to go to bed with them. It's just the way it is. All right. This is the mindset of these folks. So this is what she said when Nikki and Vivek were going back and forth on the stage during a debate. She chimed in on X and said Nikki and Vivek are involved in some Hindu business, it seems, not our fight. So yeah, she sees these East Indians as beneath her. She does. Look at this headline. Now, I know she hated on Nikki, and I've heard Ann hate on her over the years. Ann Coulter tells Nikki Haley to go back to your own country in racist rant against new GOP presidential candidate. This is the stuff that came out from Ann Coulter during the campaign, which was what, less than a year ago? A year ago? All right. So you can't tell me Vivek did not see all of this prior to inviting Ann Coulter on to his podcast. And I'll prove to you that he did know these things about Ann. So, that's some serious self-hate that he has. In my opinion, he's a weak man. And I'll get more into my thoughts when we get through these slides that I want you to see. So she got a long history of hating on these East Indians. She really does. So, that's why every time I hear, oh, she dated an East Indian, it's really irrelevant. For real. All right. It's really irrelevant. So look at this. Now, she said they're arguing, bickering back and forth was Hindu business. That's what she labeled it as. Now, this proves that he knew that she made the accusation. Vivek Ramaswamy's team respond to Ann Coulter's calling his clash with Nikki Haley Hindu business. So again, he knew what she was like before having the interview. This happened in 2023. I mean, it really wasn't that long ago when this stuff was out in the media because they were both running. So, no, he can't say, well, I didn't know she was like that. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. All right. She ain't trying to hide who she is. Missions Vision, thank you for becoming a new channel member. All right. So, no, he was fully aware. So, listen to what Ann Coulter says. So she goes on to say, she's talking about the East Indians. What's with the worshiping of cows? They're all starving over there, she said in an appearance on the Mark Simone Show podcast. And she goes on to say, did you know they have a rat temple where they worship rats? And then she goes on to call Nikki Haley a bimbo. Preposterous creature. That's what she called Nikki Haley. I mean, does it sound like she likes these East Indians? No, she don't like them at all. She don't like them at all. And he should have known better. And this is also something that came out in 2023. 2023. This is what she said on the Mark Simone Show about East Indians. Mm, mm, mm. So she ain't trying to hide who she is. She has never tried to hide who she is. Never. So after all of those insults and her telling him to his face, I didn't vote for you because you're Indian, he went out on Twitter the very next day with the sorriest response known to mankind. The sorriest response. So he goes on to say, Ann Coulter told me flat out to my face that she couldn't vote for me because you're an Indian, even though she agreed with me more than most other candidates. He goes on and says, I disagree with her, but respect she had the guts to speak her mind. It was a riveting hour. The Truth podcast is back. Now, remember, I showed you that clip with Don Lemon. With Don Lemon, he was a proud Indian American, but he couldn't say those words to Ann Coulter. So let me tell my people something that I see in this whole thing. Ann Coulter, in all of her racist embodiment, just gave us all the ammunition we need in dealing with Vivek. The next time Vivek rears his head to trash Black people, we can drag him on the fact that he refused to defend himself against Ann Coulter when she insulted his ethnicity to his face. He never had a leg to stand on, y'all, but he can no longer get in our face to fight the Black community. And he has failed to defend himself against the white community when they insulted him. He can't come back at us anymore, y'all. We really got him. We got him. When he didn't defend himself, he put that right in our laps. So he cannot rise up to criticize us without getting slammed over the fact that he let this woman be racist right to his face and he didn't deal with her at all. That's how I see it. It's a gift that even Ann Coulter did not see. She was really giving us a gift in that moment, and he didn't see it either. So there you go. There is nothing he can say from this point out where Ann Coulter will not be put in his face. And in his statement, he flat out refuses to stand up to her. You know, I thought the men in his society, they look down on women. Look how they treat women over in the country he comes from. Them women get treated like garbage over there. Maybe some of the ones that got some status or come from a more upper class family, they're treated a little better, but those women that live in them poor villages, they get treated like dirt over there in India. Not to mention, I ain't taking no crap, y'all, off of no man that comes from a country where babies are born with 10 heads and 90 arms, okay? Nah, you can't come to me and say crap. You got to have some kind of mutations in your DNA to be producing these babies with 9 arms and 10 legs. Nah, see, you can't come from that and then get up in the faces of my people and claim to be better. Oh, hell no. Hell no. No. Chai Citizen, thank you so much for the super chat. She could make the argument that his immigrant background could be a threat to national security, like the Somali woman in Minnesota. Yes. And you want to hear something crazy? I'm so glad you brought this up. Donald Trump was talking about putting Vivek in charge of national security. Y'all pull up the articles. The articles are out there. If he wins the presidency, he was going to put Vivek possibly in charge of Homeland Security. Vivek. Vivek in charge of Homeland Security. Man, what a huge mistake that would be. Yes, Donald Trump said this. You know, why do you think after he lost, he was still on the stage with Donald Trump? He threw his support behind Donald Trump. And Donald Trump ain't making Vivek no VP. You can forget about that. Kamala, it's not going to be any more East Indian VPs after Kamala. It ain't going to be no more after her. Hmm. So the point I'm trying to make, y'all, this man is non-threatening as far as I'm concerned, and he made himself irrelevant when he allowed someone to come in his space and insult him like that, and he just sat there looking somber. And that was all he could do, is just sit there in disbelief that she said that on his podcast. See, if he was about something, because Anne was not physically in the same room with her, she was just on the podcast through the live stream. If he was really about something, y'all, he would have cut her ass off at that point. He would have cut her off. You don't let nobody come on your panel and be racist to you. And he allowed it. He allowed it. Leon Johnson, thank you. Anne would eat a steak in front of Vivek and Nikki just to make them both mad. Yeah, you're right. Leon Johnson, their women are scared to death of those weak ass men, but are quick to jump in black men's faces. I've experienced this on the job. Yeah, but what they won't do, I have seen them get mistreated on jobs. I've worked with them and seen them get mistreated on jobs. And if the mistreatment comes from a white person, they will do absolutely nothing. I've seen it too. They won't do nothing, but they got everything to say to a black man or woman. See, this is where you shut them down. That's where you shut them down. Mike C, the situation puts all the buffer class groups on notice, not to mention they defecate in the streets where bad salami is from. Yeah, yeah. And the men are the kind that if the women over there turn them down, they will throw battery acid in their face because they got turned down by the women. I've seen the stories on that as well. They will drop acid on women in a minute over there. And a lot of times they'll do it because they got rejected. And they'll also beat women up that reject them over there. You know, don't you let these people from these third-rate countries come over here and tell us nothing. They don't have a leg to stand on. But I'm glad this all happened because it really demonstrated how weak this man really truly is. He is a bona fide coward, and that's all he is. Anytime you've seen all that stuff that Ann said about East Indians during the time they were out on the campaign trail, and you're going to invite that kind of person on your podcast, you are stupid altogether. So I don't feel bad for him. The only one I saw put out a piece saying, "Oh, Ann is a racist." Well, Ann is who she is. And Ann, she had taken some jabs at the black community too. But all of these same people have never rose up to say anything. But when it's Vivek, we're supposed to, oh, that was horrible what she did. I'm not saying nothing because this man has attacked the black community and it was all unfounded. He had no good, legitimate reason for being on the campaign trail. The whole time he was on the campaign trail, he kept insulting and being completely racist towards the black community. So, whatever happens to him from here on out, oh well. Was it racist? Yeah, but in his case, I don't care. I don't care that Ann Coulter was racist to Vivek. I don't care. I don't care, y'all. And I'm being blunt and straight up. I do not care that Ann did that to him. Lonzo Thompson, thank you for becoming a channel member. Thank you. Serves him right. Yeah, it does. That's why I'm not defending him. I'm not going to ever defend him. You know, when I saw him out on that campaign trail always being a racist, uh-uh. This man he's never getting any defending from me. Lonzo Thompson, thank you so much for the super sticker. But you know what? Another reason why I know Kamala is East Indian. Kamala is dressed, there are pictures of Kamala dressed as an East Indian. I don't know if any of you have seen those pictures. That's why I was like, y'all need to stop trying to call this woman black. Kamala is not black. Kamala is an East Indian. She is. And I have seen photos of Kamala dressed, fully dressed as an East Indian, just like I've seen Nikki Haley dressed as one, you know? And that's why I'm no, I'm going to push back on that Kamala is black stuff. Kamala is not black. She is not black. And I have seen pictures of her dressed that way. That's why I'm like, okay, it cut the crap already. Hold on, let me see if I can show you this picture. I'll put it up on the screen. All right, here it is. All right. All right, let me share my screen so I can show you this. All right, so this is Kamala in a family photo. She's right here. She got shorter hair at the time. You even see the dot on her head. You see how she's dressed. This is her family, y'all. This is her family. But they're in our faces saying Kamala is East Indian. She's right here. She's right here. And this is her family. These are her family members right there in the picture. But they keep telling us Kamala is black. Kamala is black. Kamala is East Indian. How many black women you see dressed as East Indians? You don't see none. You see none. And you see what the rest of the family look like. They all are dressed as East Indians, all of them. So, no, stop playing with us and telling us Kamala is a black woman. Please stop it. Stop it already. Okay, please stop it already. Yeah, I think her sister is married to a black man, but that still doesn't diminish the fact that Kamala is an East Indian. And they keep parading her around as a black woman. So, y'all, I'm going to go ahead and conclude. I just wanted to show you these things and show you his weak response to Ann so that you know that this man is full of crap and a big coward. So, y'all, thank you for being here and be on the lookout for my videos that I'll be putting out. All right, let me just make sure before I go, I thank everybody that made donations through super chat, memberships, and super stickers. Thank you very much. And be on the lookout for my videos that will be coming out for tomorrow. And everybody, please enjoy the rest of your day. Shalom, family. Oh, David Joseph, thank you for a super chat. Kamala is Indian Caribbean, a tether, not FBA. Yeah, but if you look at her father lived in the Caribbean, but when you look at pictures of him, that man looks like an East Indian. That's the thing. I mean, her father lived there, yeah, but when you look at pictures of him, he looks like an East Indian that just happened to live in Jamaica. I'm just saying. Shalom, family.